Hey, welcome back to the channel. This will be their fifth video of the I Support Ukraine series. So we've got all the paintwork done, and I've been doing a little bit of stuff off the camera just to make sure it was okay before I got back in here. I got his head and the helmet in that digital camo decal. Look at how amazing that thing looks. That's awesome. And then I also have a bunch of my tester's paints out. I've been doing a little bit of detail work. I really took the time and I got his one leg finished up. Look at that. Look how good that looks. That boot's the perfect color. I hadn't painted over all the detail for his knee pad. So I'll show you some of that here in a little bit. Also got the interior on the Humvee done. I'm going to do some detail work on that. Got the chassis done. The body's not done yet because I have to do some other stuff to that before I start hitting the flat paint on that. But for right now, I just wanted to show you this. So what we're using here is our 500 series. This is our 500 flat. This stuff is great for this kind of work because you cannot get a color that is it'll turn out just dead flat. I mean, if you look, you can see kind of the shine on that. And we'll watch this. Okay, I mean, there is no sheen to that. That is done. Perfect for military use. Now I'm all ready. I could come in and detail out the buckles and some of the pull tabs and stuff on these. So there's that. And speaking of which, now I know some of you are watching me do this, and yes, the trick when doing some of the flat work is to pull the airbrush further back. If I was trying to paint that, I was probably like right on top of it because you want to get the color all nice and solid on there. But with the flat, if you pull it a little bit further back, it seems like it kind of dries it a touch before it hits and makes it just turn super flat. Or at least that's been my experience. That's how I like to do it. See, same thing with the holster. Then I could come in and paint the grip, the back of the pistol and the grip in black. Actually, I'm not going to do any more of the paint work. I think you got that. I don't think you need to see any more of that. Let's get going on some of the decals here. Okay. So I got to say, these decals are phenomenal. And again, they're from Decal Breeze. These are 24 scale for him. They also make them in 35th scale if you use this, if you're doing the regular smaller size Ukrainian soldiers, the smaller ones. So like any other decal, you just gotta figure out what size you're doing. This is how I did them. It's not really super accurate, but it works. Actually, when I did his other leg, I split that up into about 4 pieces. You can't really tell because that pattern's so nice. So I guess actually I'd probably be better off just doing it kind of the way I did it then. Okay. Now, I know if you wanted to, you could come back in with these and you could, like, if you really wanted to be detailed, you can make sure, like, you know, the seam on that ran up the seam of here, and that, you know, you did the pockets different so they look like they'd been put on afterwards and stuff. But honestly, I just can't justify taking the time to do that, because this pattern's, I mean, it's so well represented in the decals that the pattern just melts into itself, and you really can't, you really cannot, you really just cannot see the breaks in the lines. I mean, that's what I did on his helmet, and I really can't tell I did it, so. Need this. Of course, this thing's going to try to fight me on screen here. And this is how I just did it. And then just kind of tack it down. Then, like always, just the setting solution. Yeah, that's more in the way than helpful. Then put it on there and let it sit for a few seconds. Get that nice and pushed down onto the pant leg, and don't worry if it rips, you're going to kind of cover over that anyway. Okay. All you got to do is make sure it's just pressed down enough that you can see the detail of, like, his pockets and stuff. Oh, yuck. Careful with that, I guess. 'Cause that just, wow, I just really stuck to my thumb. Well, anyway, doesn't matter. We just cover that over with a little bit here. So anyway, that's what I did with that. As you can see, just that, and then I just came back in, of course, and sprayed over it with the 500 flat. And that left me with the leg, like I showed you earlier. I just detail painted it out. I'll come back in a second when I'm done doing all these decals. Well, actually, I'll come back when I'm done with his leg. I want to show you how I did thing on his coat. I wanted to show you a little bit on that. So I'll be back in a second with that. Okay, so I got his other leg done and painted. I wanted to show you a little trick on this section here. So obviously the carrier plate, the vest is going to be just the color. So it's going to leave you all these little intricate detail parts up in here that need to be camoed, decaled. So let me show you a little trick about doing those. I mean, the great thing about this is the way the pattern is, you don't have to worry about the direction the decals are going, because they're gonna look good no matter what you do. One of the really nice things about these decals is how much brighter they are, how much lighter they are than the fill jacket and stuff. So, and all his plating and all of his accessories, that makes it nice to kind of follow along with that. So, then as you can see, where it's covered the line there, you can take that and you can come in and kind of cut that out. And there you go. You can see where it's, you can see where it felt down on there. Or what you can do, and this is what I was really excited to show you, these decals are so nice. I'm gonna put another run of this over that just to make sure it's okay. Okay, now if you let that sit for a little bit, you can take the interior color, sorry. You could take the color we used on his vest, which is the khaki gray, and you can take it, and if you open the bottle, you let that sit for a minute, it will gas out a little bit, which will thicken that paint up. That'll be enough you can use it to paint with. And we're actually just going to paint right over that decal on that strap there. Just a little on the brush. Just brush it, and there you go. You can see right there it covered it. And then when that dries, it'll dry to the same color as this vest perfectly, and you're done. How about that, huh? So let me finish this up, and I think we're going to start putting them together here a little bit. So I'll come back and we'll get that done. Okay, so we got a lot of work done on this guy. We got the camo, all the decal done on his jacket. We touched up all the straps and buckles and everything for his bulletproof vest, or his plate carrier vest. I got the hoodie done, got it decaled, got it on. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to we're going to glue his head onto his body, because that's our next step here. No, that's not what I want. Here it is. Okay. Put some glue on the hoodie. plenty on his neck. There we go. Look at that. Look at that guy. He's awesome. Loving this. Okay. And then just gotta put the tape like that. And this has been sitting for a while, so I'm just gonna back flush that a little bit. And we'll just pull them out. Do that just like we did everything else, and voila. How good looking is that, huh? Then I glued his legs together. So we need to take a little more glue. There's a little ledge inside of his coat where this glues onto, so just a little on the sides of his pants and a little on the top just along that edge there, and he should glue together perfectly. Yep, there we go. That's gonna be so cool. Okay, so I'm going to finish him off. I'll do that off camera. One of the things I did want to show real quick here is some of the detail work I'm going to do on the interior. This is a mess. I need to clean this up. Anyway, if you've never done dry brushing, you might not know this technique. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have. So let me do this right. Okay. Best way I found is with a paper towel. And then on the interior here, I want to do the edges of this in silver. Just a little, not a lot. I just want to make it look like, you know, guys are climbing over to get onto this step here. Because that's what you stand on when you're popped out of the top of that turret ring. A little on the where the back of the seat goes there. Okay, yeah, if you can see that or not, but it's just a little bit of wear. I think it looks fine. Okay, so that's that. Like I said, let me finish this guy up off screen and we'll start to do some other stuff with the Humvee. To follow up in the first video, I said that I thought that they were all just dark green, and they are certainly not. Two things. First one is it looks like they got a lot of vehicles from a lot of different places, so it was really hard to find two that were exactly the same in coloring. Some were kind of a light green, some are dark green, some are kind of almost a sand color. I've seen pretty much anything you could think of, but what I come across was one that had like a black, like they just sprayed some black on it to kind of break up the pattern, and I really liked that, so I'm thinking of doing that to mine, but I don't know, we'll see. That'll be a little bit later on in this in the video. So let me get this finished up and we'll come back and we'll get him glued together. Okay, so we're going to start putting some of the gear on him, because I realized a lot of this probably needs to be put on before we do his arms, because I think that'll just get in the road. So that's where we're at. So we're just going to hurry up and finish this off. He is so close to being done, it's not even funny. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pistol because they actually have a spot right here on him where it goes. Okay, so there's that. And then it looks like the radio goes right here. Okay, then he has the little pack right there on the back of the belt, which is this one here. Now, as I said before, if you really wanted to, take the time, you could probably come in with some of this equipment, and you could paint it a different color. You know, so his vest to be a little bit darker green than the rest of it, or whatever. I'm sure you could do that, and it would still look absolutely great. So, and then let's see, number 17. Which is that pack there, goes under, goes in front of the pistol, it looks like. So that looks like his medical pack right here, which actually I don't want to do yet because I want to paint that cross red on it. I just realized something. He's got oh, I see what they got going there. So he needs that one for the AK style magazines. And then he needs that's funny. They give you a holster for the pistol magazines, and they don't have a number. They don't have a number 24 call out for them. So I'm just going to do this. Most guys I know who are running pistols usually put them right in front of the Oh, actually, okay, actually, I just realized I'm doing this kind of weird. Okay. Okay. I say 7 or 12 up there. Okay, I'm gonna put, I think on the front picture he's got the magazines up by his chest. Oh no, I guess not. Yeah, he's got the extra AK ones up there. Okay. So I guess kind of just however I want to do this. That's his medical pouch right there. So I'm going to hang him over here, I think. I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, anyway, you can see what I was doing there. I don't need to bore you with doing the rest of this. So let me get him figured out. We'll get them all glued together. We'll come back and finish him up. Okay, so we are just finishing up here. So I did his rifle. So that's Tester's flat gunmetal, just over all the metal parts. Receiver, the cover, the magazine, the barrel, and the gas block assembly, and I just dropped that. Let me grab that. Okay, and then I did the stocks in just Tester's gloss brown. So that's the hand grip, the rear stock, and the front lower and the front upper stock. And then I did the butt plate in just flat black, just to give it that little bit different coloring. So now all we have to do is glue it on. There we go. Okay, look at that. Look how good he looks. We got the flag on his shoulder, did the ID band on his arm. Got all of his equipment, the pistols on, looks good. Dry brushed a little bit of Tester's olive on his boot laces to kind of highlight those. Yeah, he's looking great. So that is it for this episode. We got him done. Next one, we're going to come in, we're going to get the Humvee done, and we're going to build the display base. I know exactly what I want to do with that. So next video, you're going to see all these parts go together. All these parts go together. That, we got to finish off the tow launcher. I have an idea for that. So stay tuned for that. And remember, if you go to scalefinishes.com and use code YouTube10, you'll get 10% off everything we sell on our website. So thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.